So today I am going to show you a version that I'm going to do for all the lighting on my Jaguar XJC, so the XJ6. And I'm going to basically change all of the standard bulbs to LEDs. The look of the car should be the same. I just get brighter and nicer lighting. So yeah, so today you're going to do that, and yeah, and I'm going to show you how I do it. I've never done it on a Jaguar XJ6 before. I've done a little bit of research, not a great deal, so some of it's going to be a little bit of experimental. Most of the bulbs are standard. I've been on to it's a place I buy all my LEDs. You know, most of the classic car magazines you can buy. There's 2 or 3 places you can get them, but this particular place I go generally gives me pretty good quality stuff, and I normally get it next day. But I've been onto them and I've said I've got a XJ6. They've sent me all the bulbs that I need. So these are all the bulbs that they've sent to me, including those headlight bulbs. These are bulbs that I've got from previous projects. Normally with this sort of thing, it's a bit hit and miss, you know, so they do their best to advise you which ones to get. And you buy those, and actually when you go to put them in, you know, the bulbs are a bit longer, you know, a bit bigger. Normally the fittings fit properly, but they don't actually fit in the housing. So we're going to have a go, and we'll go from there. These are quite interesting. This is the inner, on an XJ6, this is the inner light on the front headlight. That's the high beam one. They come with a little power pack that you've got to put in there somehow. They connect straight into the standard socket, which is in the back of the light fitting. So yeah, quite an interesting bulb. That's called an H1, and this one, which is the outer one. So this is a high-low beam, and again, it's got a power pack, slightly different plug, but it goes straight into a standard fitting. They all come with this little fan in the back, so presumably they get quite hot, and you can also take the adapter off. So yeah, I mean, I have used one of these before. I used that on my XK, and yeah, 1960 XK. It worked a treat. So, and the lighting was incredible. So yeah, we're going to go from there. So the first thing I always do is I change the flasher unit. Now, the reason being, you need to change the flasher unit. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you're driving down, if your indicator is flashing really quickly, it basically says that you've got a bulb in that circuit that's blown. And so if you don't change the flasher unit for an LED flasher unit, basically the standard flasher unit will not detect the current that bulb is drawing, and it will just think it's blown, so it will start flashing really quickly and nothing will happen with the LED. So you need to change that first. Now, I've looked in my Bradley McLean book, and incidentally I bought this book through recommendation. There's another YouTuber who he has a YouTube channel, and he's based in Australia, and so he recommended this book, and I have to say it is actually very, very good, although a bit of a pain to try and get it, because it's produced in Sydney in Australia, and they wouldn't post it to the UK. So I actually, luckily enough, I've got family in Australia, so I managed to post it to my cousin in Melbourne, who then forwarded it on to me. Anyway, cut long story short, I've been in here and I've had a quick look, and it says that the flash unit is actually a 4-bladed one like this. And so I'm hoping that's going to be correct. So basically I've got to go and try and find that. I know it's behind the dashboard somewhere. It's above the fuse panel, which is below the, you know, on the driver's side, but I can't actually see it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to try and find the flash unit and replace that, and then we'll go from there. And so I'm going to just document the whole thing as I go, and hope you enjoy it. Now in the car, so what I'm going to do first is take this little cover off, which just pulls off in the center. You can see that. that just reveals all of these little warning lights, warning bulbs, which should just, those ones should just, yeah, they do, look, tiny weeny little bulbs. They just pull out. I'm not going to bother putting that in. Now, first thing I'm going to do is, because here, underneath here is the fuse panel, and somewhere behind this speedo is the flasher unit. Now, if I turn the hazards on, you can hear it. It's sort of there. So I can't find any other way of getting to it. So I think I'm going to have to take the gauges out anyway. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll take the gauges out and see if I can then see it. So now, as far as I know, I think we can push these forward, push these in, and twist them to get them out. Okay, that's easier said than done. Maybe I'll try that one first. So I did the usual and got into this, and I wasn't concentrating on where the camera angle was, so I'm actually going to just re-look at what I've done. I have removed the speedo. You can see right in the back there. Let me see if I can get in there quickly. I don't know if I can. Hang on, no. You can't see, but right at the back, where that, you can see where the white paper is. That is the flasher unit there. And so then I've now changed all of these. I want to test them in a minute. I've discovered that I don't have all the correct bulbs, so I've now ordered those, and I am waiting for some of those to arrive. This particular one, which is the indicator, that's the left indicator. That one there's the right. They fit. Then I've now traced. You see, so this is that there, which is a fiber optic that lights up this little panel. I've now traced that back down, and I've had to take the whole of the center out. So it's a bit of a mess, but it's all under control, I promise. And you'll see here, that little module there, with all the fiber optics running into the back of it. That's that one there. And there is a bulb. And you can see the fittings right there. So I've changed that bulb now. And even though I'm changing this from being an automatic to a manual, it is an automatic until it gets changed. So there is a gear selector light that at night lights up these, and I'm just waiting for this bulb to arrive as well. So oh, and the other thing is that this cigar lighter, I've actually ordered a fitting. I'm going to replace that with a modern USB. Okay, moment of truth. You can see everything. So I've reconnected the battery, full effect. Something interesting going with the indicators. So we've got oil. Why is that one on? Now it's off. Very faint, those. Right. Headlights, high beam. Why does that gauge work in reverse? That's really weird. All of that's working beautifully. Look at that. Right, so clearly I need to investigate that a little bit more. But apart from that, I'm quite happy with that. Does the dim? Okay, so no dim, dash dim. That does not work. But if I turn the dash dim off like that, no, still. Okay. Right, well that's interesting. That's interesting. That gauge is fine now. So I turn the ignition on. Look at that. If I fire her up, okay. Well, I think that is, apart from that gauge, that's a bit of a success. Okay, so right, I'm at the front of the car and I'll crouch down. So I'm hoping that this is going to be quite a good view. I will grab the camera at some point and show you the various bits, but yeah, because it's such a good looking car, isn't it? Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this car. So other things, I've actually put a different number plate on it. Same number, but just a different number plate. I didn't actually do a video, but I made up a nice bracket to take this little number, and that all works quite well. It keeps it all tucked out the way, keeps the front of the car looking quite nice. So, right, so let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to start off with, I think, the easy ones, which are the indicators. I haven't actually, done this particularly well, but let's have a look. So yeah, I'm going to start with the indicators, and you can see there. So I'm just going to remove that lens both sides, and then so it's the indicator and the side light. So yeah, so I'll start there. Right, so what I've done is, I'll just show you. Yeah, so I've taken the lens off, and then I've actually squirted and made sure that that fitting, I don't know if you can see, is actually moving. and the same here. You know, just making sure that they all move and strung on. So when I put the new bulbs in, they've got the best chance of working. And then I will just give it a bit of a wipe, get the excess out. Yeah, and then go from there. And then I'll show you the new bulbs. So this is relatively straightforward. This one, and just take a bit of blue towel, get rid of the excess in there. So then you'll see what I mean. So this is the new indicator bulb. So you can see, yeah, quite a nice looking thing. Still a bayonet fitting. This is the old one. So the fitting's the same, obviously different, but there's obviously a difference. Can you see that? A difference in length. I think there's enough in the lens to cover it, but that's the sort of thing that you, when you're doing this sort of conversion, you need to keep an eye out for, really. So yeah, so I'm just going to install that now. Yeah, there we go. And there's the first issue. So that one needs a bit of modification. Go in, and these side lights, well, it's just not going to fit, is it? It's not the same. That is not the same. Okay, so I've managed to get the indicators and the side light bulbs in now. The side lights were fairly straightforward. The indicators not so much. I had to basically just get my file out and file that edge there off, so it was more of that shape, so it would actually fit the fitting. But anyway, they're in now. Unfortunately, I destroyed a bulb, which is a bit annoying, but hey ho, that's the way it goes. So the next step is I am going to now start removing the headlights and changing the bulbs in those. So we start by taking off, undoing the screw, which takes the outer sort of shroud off. And then theoretically, I should be able to just, I think, nope. So I have to do a bit more unscrewing. So it looks to me, I have to undo that one there. I think. Right, hold on a second. Just loosen you off. Right. Okay. And then undo that. So yeah, I was right. Oh, nice plastic. So there you have it. We don't use the bottom bulb in this one. So we remove the rubber shroud, and then simply undo these two clips, take the bulb out. So that is that bulb. So what I've got is what they call the H4. Now I wonder whether or not I should actually use, what I'm thinking, should I use that? I'm thinking no. When I did this on the XK, I didn't use the rubber on the back of it. So this theoretically should only fit in one way. There we go. So that fits in like so. Like that. Oh, that's interesting. Right, that's good news. So you can actually put the, didn't know that. You learn something every day. So that actually went in that way round. And I think these lights have to be orientated in the fitting. So that went that way round. So I'm just going to check that. What we need to do with this, you can't see in there, but I've reconnected it. I've actually put the boot on because it says you can do that. And then it says basically you put it in on the bottom of the bulb. There's this copper dot. So it goes into the fitting like that. And then once it's in the fitting, so basically it's like that. Once it's in the fitting, you twist it. So the bulb is pointing at 9 and 3 o'clock. And then your dip beam should work perfectly. So, so yeah, now what I need to figure out with this is what I'm going to do with all the wiring. So, for example, that goes in there. I think what I'm going to end up doing is just getting a bit of tape and somehow sticking, if space will allow it, sticking that in the back there. I think that should be okay. Yeah, the wiring from the bulb won't be affected. It doesn't generate as much heat as I thought, according to the instructions. So yeah, so basically I just need to try and put all that in now. So I'm going to try and do that. I was going to stick it in. I might not. I might just push it in and see what happens. Let's go from there. Let's give it a go. Okay. So it would help if I put it the right way around. I think that's got it, yeah. So that's where that goes. That goes like that, and that goes like that. So actually, a piece of cake, isn't it? screw. Bugger. There we are. And then put my rubber ring in. Sorry, my ring here. So that should just okay. That's that one. And let's do this one now. Oh, you. Oh, look at that. Don't do that. Oh. That's both in now. So the next one is to do exactly the same over there, and then I need to move on to the rear of the car. That's the number plate. I managed to make quite a cool little mount for it. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that's how I managed to do that. Plenty of air getting around it, and it's a smaller plate anyway, so I'm not worried about any cooling. This car never had the spotlights, which some of them did. So yeah. Right, well, this is the last one. I've done that side. I wanted to see whether or not it was going to give me any aggravation like the front. The front was actually a bit a bit more involved than I was expecting. So yeah. Okay. I'm going to pull out the indicator. That's one. Brake and warning light. Well, rear tail lights and brake light. As simple as that. So just replace the rubber gasket, stick the lens back on, and now And that's the tail light done. As simple as that, eh? So do. I've already done those, done the number plate light. So what I can do now is I'm going to connect the battery up. We'll try the indicators and see how we get on. Okay, so we are going to put the ignition on. We are going to turn left. Right. We're going to flash. We're now going to turn side lights on. Headlights. High beam. Low beam. Okay, so I'm going to start that again. Every time I start a video, I say okay. That's rubbish. So I'm going to start that again. So that's the conversion finished. Yeah, it's gone quite well, and I'm quite happy with it. Nice bright lights. The instrument panel looked good. Quite a fiddly job, especially if you've got big mitts like these. Yeah, so I suppose you want to know how much it will cost, really. So I made a few mistakes. So I've ordered some parts that I didn't actually need. So I'm going to send those back. I'll keep some of them because they're the same bulbs as I've got in other cars. So I might keep some of them. But yeah, that wasn't too bad. So all in all, with all the bulbs that are fitted to the car, the cost is £291.23. So that's £291.23, which is it's a fair amount of money. But I think it's going to give me more enjoyment when I drive the car at night. And plus, having brighter lights, it's safer. Other people see you a bit more. Also for the car, you know, these bulbs draw a lot less power than standard bulbs, so you're running less current through sort of old wiring. So yeah, what I've laid all the bulbs, the old bulbs out on the table here, and I'm going to scan over them with the camera now, and you'll be able to see. So yeah, I'll scan those over, and yeah, you can see what I've done is I've sort of said what the bulb is, how many you need, and then the sort of long number underneath is for the supplier, and it's their SKU, it's their stock number. So you can actually then order those from that supplier if you want. If you drop me a message, I can let you know who that is. But yeah, you'll figure it out if you go online. You'll be able to Google it and work it all out. So yeah, I'll show you this now. So just going from left to right, you've got the H4 headlight bulb. That's the outer light on the XJ6. It comes as a set of two at £70.80. Then the inner one, which is the high beam one, is an H1. That comes in again as a set of two. It's £58.80. So you just need to buy one set of each of those. Then you get into individual ones. So the indicator bulbs, you might be able to find a better one than I did, so you don't have to adjust it or make it fit. But yeah, they were £52.85 for a set of four. Then the front side lights, £7.70, so they're a bit better. They're just a standard sort of bayonet type fitting. Stop tail lights, £22 for the two. And then the reversing lights, which is either side of the the boot lid. £7.17 for two of those. Then this bulb here is pretty much the same for the interior. There's three interior lights: the map light and when you open the door. This is on the coupe. I don't know about a four-door, but anyway, £17.92 for those. And so you could actually just do the outside lights and not choose to do the dash, but I chose to do the dash as well. So the dash lights, so they're the warning lights that run down the middle between the speedo and the rev counter. £4.32 for 8 of those. Then this is the one that I didn't have and I had to reorder. So the green lights. So these are in all the gauges, the fuel gauge, etc. So there's 8 of those in total at £19.87. Then the indicator lights at £6.36. There's 2 of those. Then the other one, which is I've called it the dash switch light. Now that is basically behind the petrol gauge, switch to switch between the 2 fuel tanks, and also the on the other side, which is the heated window switch and the map light. So you needed 2 of those at £6.63. Then there is a single dash. I've called it the fiber light, which is basically it's a bayonet type fitting, and that goes down to where that module that I showed you, where all the fiber optics go in. For some reason, that has a different bulb, so that you just need one of those at £2.93. And then I've been calling it the flasher unit, but it's actually a flasher relay. But either way, you need one of those, and you've got to make sure with your car you get the right one. Whether it's like this one with 4 4 blades on it, or spade connectors, or a 3 spade connector version. My XK has 3. That's the old unit, although it does work, but amazingly. But yeah, that had 3. So you can get the right one. Anyway, that one there is £14.15. You definitely need to change that if you do all the outside lights. All of these you may not want to do. It is quite a fiddly job, but essentially it works a treat. So yeah, so this is just so you know, these numbers here are the part numbers for the supplier. I haven't got the H1. I can put that up later, but so there you go. That's the conversion complete. That's how you do it. Well, that's how I've done it. You know, I'm not saying it's the best way, but it is my way. So I hope you find that enjoyable. I'm going to say, yeah, please like and subscribe to this. You know, I hope you find it informative, and please give me some comments. Help me improve this. You know, I'm just doing this for a bit of fun, nothing else, and to show you my journey with my cars. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you soon.